today's day and age, we're really looking at employee experience and just the changes in workforce dynamics and the generational changes that are occurring in the workforce today. We do know that 40% of workers are contingent workers at this point in time, and that's going to be close to 50% in the next few years. So it becomes more and more important to really understand the emotions and the engagement in employees. We've kind of relegated that to engagement surveys at once a year, but not really had our pulse on keeping them. So in the long term, it's going to impact career development, retention, any key metric within learning and HR in order to really understand the sentiment of the employees.
Yeah, so just to build on that, having a cohesive strategy around how and when and who, like how do you touch your employees and, finding out, what's on their mind. How are you communicating? Here's what we heard. So in some organizations, maybe like each department does their own thing. And in other organizations, maybe they're, someone owns it and is really looking across all of these pillars, but really at the crux it's how, when, who are you touching your employees.
This is generally what employee strategies look like today, and all of us are doing annual engagement surveys and hopefully more at this point in time. Pulse surveys came out, and that's pretty commonplace.
What I didn't see, John, on that list was just like who's taking what are the hot topics our employees are learning. So I love looking at the Udemy research as well as the LinkedIn, where they can kind of get these spikes where during COVID, there were certain types of hot topics that individuals were consuming during different times. Right now, probably AI and some of these tools are being, a little bit higher. So is that another data point for collecting for employee listening?
Oh, absolutely. I put it on the future list. I've got a question. Steve King, you made a comment. It's kind of more related to engagement strategy, but it's part of the change management practice, engage in readiness and impact.
I'm the change management leader now. I was the former system leader for employee experience, so I think that may have informed how I do my work now. But in order to sort of understand the impacts of the change and how people are feeling, like the constituency, the stakeholders, we do, especially for larger, higher impact projects, widely do focus groups and like a combination of, we might do an overall readiness survey to get some baseline information and follow up with focus groups, but it's a key way for us to understand how employees are feeling and how we might need to do our work vis-a-vis communications, coaching leaders on how to deal with issues that might come up, overall risk mitigation, I would say.
I would like to hear from particularly the groups that leverage a COE for employee experience and how that works and how learning engages with that group, and what do you think that the COE does with that data?
What I see from a communication standpoint is that the data is being collected, and I see that happening, and I see someone as part of that data collection summarizing and trying to make connections to strategy at a higher level and then pushing it down into the departments and putting it on, the expectation on the managers that then they're using that data to help drive conversations and decisions within their group. So it seems pretty explicit outsider's perspective that, that there is a strategy, because it's pretty, anytime there are big things happening in the organization, which there are a lot of big things happening at Walgreens right now, feels like a pretty organized communication strategy around the engagement data.